Well, that didn't go to plan, and I'm pretty sure there's jail time for what we did here. This is how our DIY bathroom vanity started out. We spent nearly 2 years remodeling our bathroom, and we weren't sure if we would ever finish. Stick around to see how our project turns out on Make It Modern.
Some things we are not loving about this vanity. The countertop. The grout, I think at one point used to be white, and then it has this nice little lip up here which collects a lot of dust. This is a very cool sink that the owner, I do believe, painted himself, which is awesome. I'd love to salvage it, maybe turn it into a bird bath. It is raised off the countertop, which means all along the edges here, it gets very difficult to clean, gets real dusty. This right here, this little tile, is of the previous owner's 2 Dalmatian dogs. I do believe that is the reason we got this house, because we did send in a picture of Billy and Arlo, and I think they made a connection with us, which is awesome. Also, I am not sure why the countertop hangs so far over. So whenever you want to access these microscopic drawers, you have to kind of do that. And then, as you can see here, they are quite small, shallow, can't put a lot of things in. And then there's also this cutout here. I'm not much of a sit down and do your makeup kind of gal, so I think we're just gonna go for a full standing vanity.
So our game plan with the demo is to just go ahead, guns blazing, swinging the hammer, but like Hannah said, we do want to preserve that dog tile, maybe even possibly the sink, but other than that, everything's gotta go. So remember when I had said that we didn't want to cause any unnecessary damage? We figured out that the old owners tiled onto the drywall, and that happened. Getting worse is in our forecast, 60% chance.
Oh my.
One design decision that we did make early on is that we were definitely going to be getting rid of our dated and ugly medicine cabinet. Now, if yours is anything like ours, then it is only held to the studs by 4 screws, so that'll be quite simple, and it's going to make a huge improvement. This is where one of the studs are. As you can see, it's not load bearing, so what we're actually going to do is remove this stud here, make it a little bit wider, shift this whole thing down just a little bit. We finally gained access to the outlet here, and we can see that the cables are running up. So our plan is actually to go down, follow these cables along here, and then when we run it to the other side, we're going to utilize the holes that are already there. But as you can see, it was very simple to run the wires all the way through. We did have to cut power to the entire house. You can't see in the dark, and neither can we, so we just didn't film that section. This is leftover drywall from our arch video. If you haven't seen that one, it is our most recent video in our bathroom series. Finally, time to get some design up on the wall. We have the arch on this side, and we're going to put an arch on this wall as well. So Hannah went into the garage and designed this 16-inch by 26-inch arch. We are going to take this template and pop it off after we copy the measurements, put it over on this side, and then we will cut it out there as well. And we'll have 2 niches.
Been working our tails off on the carcass for the vanity. Now, rather than putting the entire box carcass together in the garage, maneuvering it through the house, we're taking the approach of a custom built-in. Now we're going to tackle the plumbing before we start putting in the drawers and the face frames. That way we know exactly what we're working with.
We are going to be putting in a vanity top that has 2 sinks, so we need to figure out a way to make the drain go from the far right sink all the way to this one. And we actually came up with an idea to have a T kind of at an angle. And we'll then use this 2-inch hole saw to cut a channel in these dividers here. That way we can route a PVC pipe that goes straight through and it will connect everything together. So now you might be thinking, cool, you got 2 holes and they're exactly where they should be. but how are you going to get this in there? Without looking like one of those dogs that found a stick that's too big to bring home, we're gonna have to take this all apart. Here we are. This is all the progress that we have made thus far. As you can tell, we have the top on as well as some drawers. Now we decided to do this all off camera because there are hundreds of videos on YouTube on how to build drawers in many different ways. We are now at the tricky but the fun part of the project. Now we are going to go for a continuous grain. I've marked out all of the cuts that we need to make. We'll get right into it. So the way that we set up that first cut was actually pretty simple. Just measured off of the face frames exactly how wide our doors needed to be. So I'll just mark that here. And then I would mark it on the other side. And having one of these rulers that has measurements on both sides is very handy, especially for situations like this. So I just take my marks, move my saw guide, and then clamp it down. Good to go.
While David is doing the drawer fronts, I am charged with fixing the face frame with all of the nails where we nailed it into place. We are going to do that with our custom wood filler. All you need for this is wood glue and some offcuts from the wood that you're working with. Now, pro tip, we have a coffee grinder. We just kind of threw it in there, made it nice and fine, and it should give us a smoother, finer finish. Keep adding as you go, and then you do want it to be a paste consistency, much like glue, and not too runny. Google told us that if you soak the wood stain in a little bit of acetone and then sand it off, it makes a big difference. And so we put it to the test and it does. So pro tip. And now we stained. So when we were in the store, we couldn't get the exact color that we wanted. So we did come up with a concoction where we lay this lighter color down first, and then we're going to go over the top with red oak. And we did a test run on this and it looked pretty good, so hopefully we get the same results across the board. So I'm not loving the color of this Vanity. I know we told you we loved the stain and that we tried the stain. We all make mistakes. David prefers the lighter look, which I didn't agree with him at first, but now that everything's coming together, I am seeing his vision. So how are we gonna fix it? We are going to try something new, and that is paint washing. So I don't actually know if this is gonna work. I am going to try my darndest to save these cabinets. So anywho, that's what we're gonna do now.
Well, that didn't go to plan, and I'm pretty sure there's jail time for what we did here to this beautiful red oak Vanity. We stained it darker, hated it, sanded it down, primered it. This thing has been through the ringer, and hopefully this is the last time we have to put anything on this Vanity top. So come on, babe.
Now the paint color is on, and it is this beautiful mauve-y kind of pink undertone, and we are loving the color. We've actually moved in. It's very spacious. And now we are moving on to the paint and style design. You know that's my favorite portion of the entire series. So we are going to do something we have never done before, and it is a very bold, filmy green color. But I think it's going to really complement the gold as well as the blue undertones we have in our floor tiles. And now we protect our beautiful quartz countertop. We do not want any paint to get on this. It is the moment of truth. This is a big risk for us. Ooh, I hope it looks good and I hope it doesn't look weird. I don't know. There's a dog hair in there already. Wow. Oh, it doesn't look too green. Listen, you remember that filmy green color we were just talking about? It did not translate well. It looked like mint ice cream. So we decided to just go ahead and paint it all white. So that being said, I'm gonna need you to tune in to part 3 because that's the most exciting part, and that is the design part where we get to make this space our own. We have a lot of cool IKEA hacks and fun decorative ideas for you guys to see. And then if you haven't seen it yet, check out part 1 to this video. And then, you watch this video, and then tune in next week for part 3. video, be sure to like and subscribe on the video below, and let us know if you have any ideas in the comments section for how we can liven up this space. I do know it is very white, but as I said, we have big plans. Thanks for tuning in.